I think there's three orders of laws governing our human lives here on this earth. And one is the law of accident, and the second is the law of fate, and the third is the law of destiny. And I was destined to become a pianist. If I were going to talk about my life, I'd tell you my name's Bernhardt. The story of my life, lucky to be here, lucky to be me. And my life is essentially a story about love. It began at the very beginning of my love of music and the piano. And from the very beginning, music was in my ears. My left hand isn't what it once was. These three fingers don't remember how to play the piano, but I'm trying. The left hand's not working, so. Kind of sad compared to what I used to do. I love the way pianos ring. They just got a nice thing. The classical thing went very deep. I mean, I played my first concert when I was 6. Mendelssohn and Beethoven. Bach. And I concertized quite frequently until my father was a pianist, and he knew all the great pianists. He knew a lot of the great opera singers and everything, conductors. And I'd play for them all. I'd come down in my pajamas and play for all these great artists. And some of the great pianists in the world were regulars there. You know, Clifford Curzon, Eugene List, Serkin. And I thought every kid had a childhood like this. I had no idea it was something very, very special and serendipitous and destined to make me a pretty good musician.
There's some later on with you playing the piano. Here you are with your dad in Wausau.
Yeah. And there were certain aspects that I had weaknesses and strengths, which I think I was destined to become a pianist, because I tried everything else. I went to school and studied science and everything. I got completely away from music after my father passed away when I was 13. I couldn't listen to music without getting very torn up inside. But nobody ever had to teach me about pedaling, for instance. I came to this planet knowing how to phrase and how to pedal a piano. I wouldn't sleep unless they put my cradle underneath the piano. My dad or Joseph Levine or one of his friends would play Chopin, and then I'd go to sleep. My earliest memories are underneath of a Steinway with all the wood going around, the big brass thing. So it was destined. One night, I dropped out of school, started playing in clubs around Chicago. I started playing trio gigs mainly, and then we'd have jam sessions on every Sunday, and people would come by and play, and didn't know anything, and all the musicians would help me. Ira Sullivan helped me a lot. Herbie Hancock was around, and he was just starting too. Jack DeJohnette was a piano player. All of this was gaining my experience and my knowledge of just how to play jazz. Eventually, it took over. Even though I was living at home with my mom, by then I wasn't making enough playing in these little clubs, but I definitely knew that it got me, that music got me. What changed my life entirely was I was playing with Jeremy Steig a lot because he was out with Paul Winter, and he was a great flute player. And Bill had graduated from college as a flute major, and so he knew Jeremy, and the three of us would play all the time. Bill would get out of playing the last set of the Vanguard, Jeremy and I would go sit in with Eddie Gomez and Marty Morell and play the last set of the Vanguard a lot. And Jeremy got a call from Tim Hardin, who knew him, and Tim said, "I'm coming to New York to play a gig. Can you get a band together?" And Jeremy said, "Sure," and he got me on keyboards. And here was Tim Hardin's thing was it was jazzy folk and great poetry and the most amazing singer I've ever heard in my life, all poured into one. And a complete nutcase on the other side. But I had to unlearn everything I'd learned to that point about music to play with Tim. He was just wonderful. He was such a great poet. I have books of his poetry that he wrote out that nobody's ever seen except me. And mercy in the wind lies hidden from all such men who think they try again. Things like that he would write. Beautiful. He says, in that same song, it became a song later, I tried to write music to it, and I have wished upon a star, morning star, evening's gone, standing, steaming railroad car, open door to windy stars, cold and curled up in a race to the morning. Is the sun too much to see? Each of us will always be wondering all these things, coming up with soon. lonely too. Tim was a great influence on me. He simplified my playing. He got me into the poetry of lyricism and just poetry in general. He was a wonderful poet. And I loved him dearly. Surrendering's all we do. Coming up, the sun is lonely too. Time is kind of an illusion, a dimension maybe. I would say it, I like the phrase all at once to describe everything. Therefore, we're all here now, and we never will be anything but now for any of us. So, great to see you all.